Hello, it's Maria here with you today. Today I'm in my kitchen. I normally paint in the attic, but it's a very hot day, so I decided to work a little bit more simply today. So if you want to join with me and paint a very simple painting, this one was inspired by the lilies that you can see here. They blew down in a storm there over a week ago. So I just have them in a vase and they really just inspired me to get working on this very simple picture. So if you'd like to join with me, that's what I'm going to be painting today. So let's get started. So today all you need for this project, this Lilies project, is a sheet of acrylic paper or good strong cartridge paper that you can paint on with acrylic. You also are going to need some acrylic paints. As you can see, I'm using a lot of orange here. I'm using white and pinks and obviously greens and just water. So this whole painting is going to be painted in acrylic. I'm not using oils today, and it's quite fast and easy to paint. So as you can see, I've speeded this up slightly, but if you want to work along with me, you can stop and start. That's usually what I would do, or usually I'd watch a whole video in advance to see what the artist is doing and then paint it myself afterwards, just take an idea from it and work away afterwards. So it's easier for me to speed it up because they're faster to upload and easier to upload. So, and as well, it saves people just watching these endlessly long videos. So yeah, all I'm using is, what I did first was I coated my paper with a coat of white emulsion paint. You can also use gesso, or you can, if you have a tube of acrylic paint, you can use that as well. Just give it a quick coat. I just find I like to give my paper a little bit of extra texture, and it makes the paper heavier and just nicer to paint on. So all I did there was I have some orange paint on my palette and a little bit of purple and some white, but basically I'm just giving it a very quick, there's no real method to this. I'm just covering up the paper, the white on the paper, to give myself a nice, I like to paint on something that is more textured, more colourful on the background, because that gives me an idea then of my values. And the value is when I'm putting down my white lily, that I know what the white lily is going to look like on a background, rather than painting a white lily onto a white background. It's just, I find it better to paint some colours underneath, put a darker ground underneath, and then my lilies, or whatever my subject matter, it gives me a better idea of what they're really going to look like. So here, also, yes, you're going to need some markers, or if you don't like using markers, these are water soluble markers. You can use colouring pencils that are also water soluble. I used a darkish green marker to do, I'm just outlining these lilies, and I'm not sticking rigidly to the arrangement that I have in front of me. So I've got some lilies in a vase, but I'm not sticking with that. I'm just really making more of the heads of the lilies, and I'm ignoring the vase. I'm ignoring basically the arrangement that I have in front of me, but I'm just randomly putting the lily heads. I'm kind of looking at them, but I'm not sticking realistically with them. So I used this green marker that was water soluble, and they're easy. It's just children's markers. I just found them around the house. They're not anything expensive. But I was sorry afterwards that I used such a dark colour, because it kept coming through. As you can see, I'm painting over it now with the white acrylic paint. But the marks of the lilies, of the marker that I put down, the outline, did come through rather heavily, and it was hard. In places I wanted to get rid of it, and it was hard to get rid of it. So I just advise you maybe to use colouring pencils, or to use a lighter coloured marker. Now at times I like having the marks that I put down, I like having them showing through. So it just meant in places I didn't like where it was peeping through, so I had to work over it a few times with the white paint just to get rid of that marker showing through. And I don't normally use markers for an underpainting, but because I wanted to work quickly, and this is kind of an exercise in just loosening up, just enjoying myself. They're like, it's like just really doing a study or doing a very quick painting. And maybe later on I will go and use these underpaintings or these little, it's like a sketch really, a sketch in paint. I can use these as a basis for doing another larger painting maybe later on canvas, using oils as well. So yeah, basically my colours were, I had the orange mainly and white in the underpainting, and then I used the marker next. And as I was saying, I would recommend to use a paler colour marker. If you're using marker, just go for your lightest colour marker to put down the drawing. And then I came along with my white paint just to give the outline or the shape of the lilies over the orange background. And now I'm coming in with a light green. So this is just very loose, it's very easy. I am just playing around. I'm not sticking with being realistic or sticking with getting the shapes of the lilies right. I am just playing around with it, and really what I'd recommend is have a good look at those lilies. If you've got a photograph, find a photograph of lilies and just take a good look at them. And then, or you could buy some lilies. They're always available in the shops and they're not that expensive. And you'll get several drawings and paintings out of them if you do buy them, or even a plant. I've done that in the past. I've bought a beautiful calla lily plant and used it as the basis for a lot of paintings. So just look at your lilies and study them. Have a good look at them before you start your painting. And then, you know, while I'm painting, I'm not sticking rigidly with what I'm seeing in front of me. I'm just really abstracting the shapes really and playing with them and enjoying just those beautiful free-flowing lines, curved lines and shapes. So I'm coming in with a darker green here to put in my darker shades. So this is what I'm talking about, value. I'm putting in the dark values now. So I've got my lightest colours in, my mid colour for the background, and now I'm putting in the darkest colour. And I can change these as I go along. And the whole idea today was to just free myself up. I had been working on a good few big canvases and I was getting a bit bogged down in finishing them off and trying to perfect them, and my work was just, I felt it was beginning to stiffen up. So today the idea was just to have a bit of fun, loosen it all up, start playing around and get away from the canvas. And you can quite easily use your acrylic on paper, and with acrylic paint on paper it's so easy to frame it. If you use a standard size, you can just go into a shop and buy a standard size frame and frame it up, and it's just really lovely. And they last as well. They last as long as any other kind of painting will last. So acrylic on paper is very handy. You don't need an easel. It was just really easy for me. It was a very hot day, so the attic tends to be just stiflingly hot in the hot weather because it's got skylights and the sun beats in, especially in the morning. So I came down to the cool kitchen and I just sat there early in the day when nobody would disturb me and did, this was very quick, this painting. Really, I had it started and finished in less than an hour. You know, maybe about 40 minutes. I had the whole painting done. And I went on and I did a second one in a, not in the landscape, but in portrait angle. And I'll put that one up. That's also, it's quite similar, but it's from a different angle. And maybe the colours in it are a bit more dramatic. These are more greens. So I'll put that one up in a week or so. So this was a very simple process. I'm going to let you watch it now to the end, and do keep going, watch it to the finish, because you'll see how it develops and how the colours deepen, and how it looks when it's finished, just to watch the whole process. And don't forget to like and subscribe and to share if you like the video, and get in touch with me if you want to show me your own work. So thanks for joining me today. Have a lovely day and God bless, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.